here we have example number 1, and it says rename each of the following using the distributive property of multiplication over addition. So there are no parentheses in the final answer. So I want you to go ahead and use your knowledge of the distributive property to try out these problems, and then we'll come back together and we'll go ahead and work them out together. So press pause now. Okay, so hopefully you've went through and you did each one of these problems. So let's go through and let's see how you did. If we're going to distribute here, this one is a little bit more complicated than just regular distribution. I know that a lot of times that you guys are taught, and then you tend to teach if you work in the higher grades, you teach about FOIL. Well, I don't like the FOIL. In fact, I had a professor in college who said that if we ever taught FOIL, that he would hunt us down. So I've been a little scared about it. But it's really just repeated distribution. And if you teach it that way, if you happen to teach this, if you teach it as repeated distribution instead of foiling, then they can multiply no matter how many terms there are. But if you had something that looked like A plus B plus C times D plus E plus F, you can no longer do FOIL because there are more terms than just first, outer, inner, and last. But if you teach it as repeated distribution, then they can distribute the A and then repeat the distribution with the B and then repeat the distribution with the C. So you really want to do what's more effective and more correct. So in this case, did you distribute your A to get AC plus AD, and then distribute your B to get plus BC plus BD? If you did, then you did that absolutely correctly. Now this second one might have thrown you for just a little bit of a loop because there are no numbers, there are no letters, it's just shapes. But the concept is what we're talking about here. And if you understand the concept, then you can do anything that's presented to you. So we're distributing the square throughout the triangle and the circle. So we're going to distribute that and multiplying both of those. So if I multiply the square times the triangle, I get square triangle, plus the square times the circle would be square circle. So hopefully you got that. Now then this one, we have something additional to just the distribution. So let's distribute that multiplication throughout the parentheses. So A times B would be AB, and then A times C would be plus AC, and then we still have this minus AC here at the end. Well, if we go through and we combine our like terms, here we have a plus AC and a minus AC. So these would cancel each other out, and we would just be left with AB as our final, most simplified answer to that problem.